It's the Last Raider, and we're gonna try a video review of the new Marvel's New Warriors. This should be fun. I'm gonna try and keep my responses as brief as possible because I've tried to do this 2 or 3 times, and they just kind of rattle on a bit. So I'm just gonna make my assessment of these characters and whatnot, and then we'll just go from there. So you're about to see. By the way, you're about to see Marvel. This is how comics die. Okay, this is how it dies. It doesn't die with a bang. It dies with a oh my god, you didn't use the right pronouns whimper.
My name is Daniel Kibblesmith, and I am the writer of New Warriors #1. I got interested in the New Warriors later. I remember seeing them on the shelf when I was a kid, picking up comics in the 90s, and just feeling like they were too cool for me. Like I was intimidated by, Night Thrasher had a blade coming out of his wrist.
Okay. Why would you be intimidated by superheroes? And also, what is this? Back in the 90s, it was this is not too cool for you. The only reason you had for not buying a comic book back in the 90s was your mom and dad told you not to, or your dad would whoop the snot out of you because it looked like porn. As far as he was concerned, or they would deal with it like porn. Well, it wasn't that comics looked like porn back then. It was more like some moms and dads considered them to be like porn, something that rotted your brain. Like video game, way people looked at video games and crap like that. But honestly, if you showed up to school with Aliens versus Predator or Sonic the Hedgehog or the New Warriors or something like that, you were pretty cool because you had something that supposedly the cool kids were reading. Like it was one of those things, kind of like what is the Pochukamon episode of South Park where the kids are trying to get Pochukamon because I think it's Kyle wants to be cool. And he wants to follow the crowd and he wants to be cool. So he tries to get all the toys. He's trying to get the toys and get further and further along in the Pochukamon, like buying the cards, buying the toys, watching the TV show and everything else. You try to get cooler. I mean, why would you be intimidated by these characters? This is the guy that's writing this shit. This just shows you how far Marvel has fallen in this age.
Nova was really buff. They were all the edgy characters for the 90s, as the cover said.
I don't think they were edgy, okay? If you look back at, what was it? Mara, I think it was? Not Mara.
They occupy this really cool space. They're forever young, but
I mean, you look at them, they're muscular. Night Thrasher himself is one of those characters that he doesn't rely on powers to give him his abilities. He relies on physical training. He has to be that physically buff. He has to be that rippled. Those chicks are usually their ideal versions. The reason why Superman is so muscled and buff is in the original Superman comics, Superman is technically human. A lot of people don't realize that. The original 30s comics, Superman was originally a human. He was just a race of humans off in the galaxy that had evolved on a planet with a much greater atmospheric density and a much greater gravitational pull. It was Krypton's many times larger than Earth. Also, Superman's species is just humans that have been evolved millions of years sooner, much further, millions of years on the evolutionary scale than normal humans. So he's a Superman, basically. He is so much further evolved than humanity. And so that gives him higher density skin. He's immune to all diseases. He can jump really far and punch through things and have all these abilities because he's superior to every person. But when he comes to Earth, he is for truth and justice. He's this virtuous character. This idea of, oh, they're buff and they kind of intimidated me. How do they hire this guy anyway?
I've now been around for 30 years. My editors on the previous books I'd done, like Loki and Black Panther versus Deadpool, asked if I would be interested in doing a New Warriors tie-in.
Which, mind you, I've never heard of Black Panther versus Deadpool, and I've never heard of Loki. Okay? These were apparently books that were not very good because I never heard of them.
That actually poses them as the authority figures in this conflict instead of the rebels, and I really liked.
Which, mind you, the chick that is the sea chick had a much better looking costume in the original than she does now. It's all, this is approved body types now. Notice this: small boobs, wider waists. Smaller guys are looking more, wimpier, softer tones. It's come on now. I mean, the original characters actually popped. The one character here, I can't remember her. I don't know her name actually because I've never read the New Warriors. But I mean, frick, she looked way better in the original comic. Now she looks like a mom with those weird wing glasses going on. You're already butchering the original characters. You're not doing very good right now.
The tension of that. So because the New Warriors are the authority figures in this story, they have to be mentoring new warriors who are under 21 and subject.
Hang on a minute. It doesn't matter how many times I see this, I want to just giggle a little bit. Oh boy. We're not doing good, Marvel. We're not doing good.
To the laws that triggered the outlawed event. This new law is making it illegal to be a vigilante under the age of 21. The artist
didn't we already
sort of feel class.
Didn't we already have an outlawed law in Marvel where it was like a no mask law or the Superhuman Registration Act or something like that? And also outlawing being a vigilante. I agree with Sargon on this. This is actually already outlawed. You're not allowed to be a vigilante. Most superheroes wear a freaking mask because they are vigilantes. Superman, however, is not a vigilante. Superman comes in there, lands on the ground, and it's like he's Superman. He's bulletproof. He just kind of walks in there, and he just kind of holds them in a citizen's arrest most of the time, or ties them up to a pole, or ties them up with a pole or something, and leaves them for the police. He doesn't sit there and dispense any kind of justice. Vigilantes are judge, jury, and executioner. A lot of superheroes are not like that. The best example would be the Punisher as a vigilante superhero. Spider-Man, yeah, he may go in there and beat the crap out of some guys, but he leaves them for the cops when it's all said and done. The police show up and just, okay, all right, slap handcuffs on you. We found you guys in a room webbed up with a shit ton of cocaine. You're going to jail. We've got more than enough evidence to put y'all away. And it's like, this idea that all superheroes are vigilantes is an SJW concept in which they don't. It's their concept of putting everything into a singular category so they can understand it better. And superheroes are multifaceted. Some are vigilantes. Some are just, basic people with advanced powers that just go out there and just do good. Superman, for instance, is Superman catching a plane? Does that make him a vigilante? Is Superman going out there, stopping bullets and holding a guy until the police show up and arrest him? Is that being a vigilante? The most you can probably say is Superman is a bit of a, he does more than likely citizens arrests. But I mean, even Batman, for instance, Batman goes out there and he's technically not even a vigilante himself because Batman will find evidence. Many a times he turns the evidence over to the authorities and then catches the person involved and puts him in. And the police actually use Batman as an asset because Batman can find enough evidence possibly to put a person away for a good long time. They just usually get out because they got a kick-ass lawyer.
Second, instantly familiar. So the first character that we're introduced to is Trailblazer. She's a group home and foster kid.
While we do this, I'm going to give these characters new names. This here is Captain Diabetes,
who is volunteering at a senior center when this mysterious threat shows up and Night Thrasher runs to the rescue. And because she helps him, she ends up in the crosshairs of this new outlawed law. And
But how? Okay, how? If it's legal for him to be... Okay, so say it's legal for him to be a vigilante, then how is she getting in trouble for it for helping him? That's what I don't understand. That's like aiding a cop. That's like if a cop is sitting on the ground, he's getting the crap. Some guy gets him down, he can't get to his gun. You run up and put the dude in a chokehold. That's like saying they committed assault. At that point, you're aiding an officer of the law. You're possibly saving their life. And if it's legal for Night Thrasher to be going in there, kicking people's ass, and he ends up needing help and she helps him out, it doesn't make any sense. This guy has apparently never run into any legal difficulty before in his life.
She inherited from her grandfather a magic backpack of divine origin. We picked up.
So it's overweight Dora the Explorer then. Does she sing backpack, backpack when she needs to take something out? Oh boy.
Her named Trailblazer because she's somebody who charges into action. She knows that she can do some good with this, mysterious gift that she's been given.
I can see her charging into action if there's a frickin' cheeseburger. There's actually worse, much worse than that. I seen an actual video on Twitter where this black woman flips out and she charges up to a McDonald's buck naked and starts just beating on the door naked. Big, giant, blubbery, fat woman. Yeah, I can see her charging into battle if a cheeseburger is being threatened, but not many other reasons. Maybe some potato chips.
Screentime is a internet kid taken to its sort of logical conclusion. As a youth, he was exposed to his grandfather's experimental internet gas, and that's...
Someone beat me to this online. They showed this kid, sniffing internet gas, and it's his grandfather's internet gas, and his grandfather is farting into I think he's either shitting or farting into a tube, into a tank, and he's eating bits of RAM, and this kid is smelling his dad's internet farts. Also, we're renaming this character, I think, Captain Google.
Has patched him permanently into the World Wide Web. The word
Captain
Screentime
Google
is only ever used in a sort of restrictive sense, and because we're doing a story about teenage rebels, a lot of the names are about teens fighting against labels that are put on them.
So we're not making sensible heroes. These are not heroes meant to... This is SJW's version of inspiration. It is... We're not going to produce a character who inspires, such as Superman, or something that instills... Superheroes usually instill an emotion within the people, depending on their name and their color scheme. Batman, for instance, is supposed to be a more fearful, dark... His inspiration as a symbol is supposed to be sort of the boogeyman of the criminal element. Superman is more of the inspirational. He comes in, patriotically clad out of nowhere with this massive cape, bulging muscles and everything, and he steps down right in the path of bullets for people and just stands between them and danger. He's supposed to be... It's the phrase from My Hero Academia when All Might steps up and says, "Never fear, for I am here." That tells you immediately, with his catchphrase, that he is there to defend the people. That they have nothing to fear. As long as he's there, he's going to fight and he is going to win to keep them safe. With SJWs, we have to have someone who's already weak, who is being oppressed, and they're trying to get back a form of their humanity. Also, the two heroes that we've already seen, Captain Diabetic Dora the Explorer and Captain Google here, they don't have powers that are really impressive. Okay, you got a magic backpack. Lobo has a bottomless satch that has been used already by DC. And as far as screen time is concerned, screw the internet gas. You're telling me it's not because of his goggles and this weird lobe thing that he's got on there that doesn't just read his mind instantaneously? Because Tony Stark already can do that with the Extremis system. He can literally patch into his suit now, I think currently, and run his suit at the speed of thought, which makes him much faster now than he used to be. His suit's not as clunky anymore. So, and also, We got to remember the old adjective from Stan Lee, which was, if you're going to write something, write what you like, but write it well. Okay? How the fuck do you hook up to the internet with gas? It's like someone took the idea. What is that? The storage pod commercial where the people are throwing their belongings into a balloon. They're saying, we're going to take all of our stuff and store it in the cloud. This is about the level of stupidity that it takes to write something like this. It takes a dumb boomer logic to make this. The difference is you're dealing with a millennial who probably hasn't had to deal with a whole lot of things in his life.
Screen time, we liked the idea that he has infinite screen time. Snowflake and SafeSpace are the twins, and their names are very similar to Screen Time.
Now, these are the two that set the internet on fire, okay? Whoo, boy. I do not understand this. Right now, someone did a redesign. I'm going to do a video of the redesign of Snowflake. But I'm hoping this guy completely redesigns all the characters into something much better. The redesign looked awesome. Okay, sexy as hell, and she looked lethal at the same time. The redesign for SafeSpace was looking really good. But right now, I'm gonna call this. Well, I'm gonna wait until he mentions their powers, and then I'll explain to you why I'm renaming these.
This idea that these are terms that get thrown around on the internet that they don't see as derogatory, to take those words and kind of wear them as badges of honor.
This is white guy logic right here. This is white, upper class. I'm eating caviar every day, and my life is a struggle because I have to have 2 Wi-Fi routers in my home. It's so large. Logic. Okay? If this were true, Marvel or DC would have, like taking these terms and using them as terms of endearment. DC and Marvel would have made a black character and called him Captain N-word. And I'm saying N-word. You'd okay? Try Jiggler and replace Jig with an N, and you know what I'm talking about, okay? If that was the case, and you could take a derogatory term and mean it as a term of endearment, you could do this with Captain N-word, okay? This is their logic. We're going to take something bad and try to make something good out of it. It's like, no, some things are just beyond that, such as snowflakes and safe space. Those terms are beyond it. And here's the thing. Safe space was actually a term developed by SJWs in colleges. And people turned it into something and said, look, you need a safe space. That just shows you how weak you are. In fact, back in the day, I actually stated on Twitter, I said, okay, if you have a safe space, I'm going to invade it. Because that's when you go in there. Mizzou had a large safe space on Mizzou College. And I told people, I said, you need to go in there, clap your hands, and invade the safe space. Because that's the problem with these people. They are not forced to deal with problems. They are not forced to acknowledge people or be tolerant of them. And when you go in there and show them this stupid logic here of a safe space doesn't cut it in the real world, then they have to reevaluate their entire belief system. Snowflake, on the other hand, that was a derogatory term. There's no taking that back.
Honor. Safe Space is kind of a big, burly, sort of stereotypical jock. He can create force.
A gay stereotypical jock. I almost said something bad there for a minute, but he's a gay-looking stereotypical jock. When do jocks want to be pink? It's also the thing that I was like, why in the heck did Brian Spillner in, what was it? Fast and Furious? Why did he have a peach-colored car? I mean, yellow would have been a lot better, but I guess that was taken. It probably was, actually. Dom was more of a man than Brian was. Everything about Dominic Toretto was just dude, butch, jock, badass. And then you have Brian Spillner come up, who's a muscular pretty boy. That's what he was. He was a pretty boy. So I guess that's why his Supra had to be a pretty car. This is not a stereotypical jock.
Fields, but he can only trigger them if he's protecting somebody else.
So, safe space can only trigger his force fields if he's protecting someone else but can't protect himself. And that is severely contradictive, because why in the heck? You could have added one or two things and that would have fixed that up. Honestly, it's a very simple fix. You just got to say, like, he doesn't feel like his life is deserving, but they're not going to do that because that would actually give his character some flaws and make him fucking interesting. Because you got to remember, all SJW characters, they've got to be the bestest ever. But I mean, we'll call him Captain Meat Shield because I can just see this dude running over to a woman saying, "Ma'am, I need your baby," grabs the infant from her mother and charges him, putting a force field up over the baby and charges into battle so he can defend himself. He literally has to be hiding behind someone else. Like, he is completely dependent on his own physical skills in a one-on-one fight. So, I mean, he better be a muscular, burly jock, and he best know how to fight. Maybe Night Thrasher should teach him some shit. Old man teaching the young pup how to, defend himself well.
Snowflake is non-binary and goes by they, them. Snowflake.
Non-binary and goes by they, them. Yeah, that was Mom just now. But she goes by they, them. Let's think about this for a moment. Oh boy. All right, we have let's get the check marks in here. We have black, female of color. Okay? 2 check marks in there. Non-binary, meaning that she's, I don't know if that means that well, no, that's probably better than gay, honestly. All right, she's probably better. Actually, no, it wouldn't be better than gay because she still has the possibility of having a kid. So she's like half as good as a full-on lesbian. So she's like in this really, like 3 or 4 check marks right there for Marvel. I mean, this is what they do with all their women of color almost. It's like, yeah, they all got to be like either gay or bisexual or non-binary. Oh no, non-binary meaning she's trying to be some sort of sexuality that's not either male or female. Which means she's either a shitty man or a shitty woman. Oh boy.
Has the power to generate individual crystals.
Also, she has the male blue color and he has the more effeminate pink color. We've already emasculated our male character to the point where he's clad in pink and he probably has to hide behind her so he can get his shield up. So his power is completely dependent upon his sister. He is so totally dependent on this other chick here that, and I don't think she is either.
Crystallized snowflake-shaped shurikens. The connotations of the word snowflake in our culture right now are something fragile.
Yeah, she has the offensive power, meaning she does not need him in a fight. But he absolutely needs her. That's not mirroring at all. I think he said this is supposed to mirror. That's not mirroring at all. She theoretically would not need her brother in a fight. But he is completely dependent on her in a fight because his power is dependent on other people. So he's a castrated black man. Holy shit. He is a castrated black man. He has no worth outside of his sister on a superhero team. Damn, Marvel. Are y'all anti-black male? Dear God. Anyway, Snowflake, for God's sakes, though. I mean, she's hurling out, Snowflake shuriken, and apparently that's it. That's all she can do. She's just hurling Snowflake shurikens and whatnot. We'll call her One Trick Pony. The One Trick Pony, because despite the fact that she's probably got some sort of snowy ice power, she cannot do any more than snowflakes. I mean, it'd be cool if you sat back and said, yeah, she can make all these ninja weapons out of ice. Or any physical thing out of ice. But then at that point, she can make her own barriers, and then her brother would be even less important. Like I said, you have the makings in SAFESPACE of a really good character. If you would just give him some trauma. Just some trauma that explains why he can't use his powers on himself. But no, we're not going to do that because he's a filthy male.
And this is a character who is turning it into something sharp. Snowflake is the person who has the more offensive power, and SAFESPACE is the person who has the more defensive power.
And he is completely dependent on her. This is not like Superman or Batman or any others. This is a character that cannot do any superhero actions unless someone else is there. So if he gets into a fight with, say, the Punisher, or better yet, Taskmaster, Taskmaster one-on-one's going to beat the living dog shit out of him. But if he has his sister nearby, he may have a fighting chance because he's going to make her invincible while she just hurls shuriken at Taskmaster all day long. But even then, she has a chance of beating Taskmaster on her own. Think about that for a moment. This has been the feminist agenda of making men weak. Look at the Captain Google a minute ago. He's getting his powers to be constantly hooked up to the internet. What does that do? Can he control electronics? Can he do this? No, he's just hooked up to the internet and can pull up any facts. He's basically an iPhone. Like, I have more superpowers than he does right now because I'm making a video on a smartphone. He's literally just a Google search engine. That's it. But the girls are having all these, oh yeah, we're getting these superpowers, pulling this out of our backpacks, and I got my magic backpack, and I've got my shuriken throwing abilities, and these filthy guys back here are just third wheels so far.
The idea was that they would mirror each other.
Okay, I just saw this, and I'm like, okay. You know what Ethan Van Sciver put out the tweet a while back where they were talking about how much money they had made Cyberfrog and Salamandroid was, and Cyberfrog goes, well, he better not be selling porn. It looks like Marvel may be trying to sell some softcore incest porn right here. This is not what brother and sister do, okay? You do not hold your sister like this. No, even a loving hug to your sister is just, hug them real quick and get back off because it is really fucking weird, okay? It's just fucking weird to hug your sister for over probably 5 seconds is about as long as it should be for a brother and sister to hug. Not like her cuddling up to him with her hands almost around his waist or up to his chest and him, curling her in like she's the love of his life. They're gonna bust in one scene and they're gonna catch them doing it or something. This is gonna be so bad. And this is right around the time the coronavirus is hitting too. I mean, comic shops are all gonna die.
And complement each other. B Negative is the goth kid. When he was a baby, God. He got a rogue life-saving blood transfusion, we assume from Michael Morbius. And now he has a very similar...
Trying too hard. This is this character. Trying way too hard. Okay, we have the side shave mental illness haircut. That's not even a haircut that an emo uses. Emos usually have long, drawn out hair. They're trying to get the Rainal goth look from Germany. Think Castlevania's Dracula, for instance. The way his hair is straight and all comes down uniform onto his face, creating this reign of authority. This is just an edgy teenager trying too hard. And also, we have another instance of Marvel appropriating superpowers from other characters to create new age characters. Miles Morales, we've done that with. We've done it with Jane Foster's Thor. I'm almost willing to bet the B and B negative eventually will turn out that he is bi. And I almost promise he's not going to have the same problems that Morbius has. Because Morbius had this problem of trying to drink. He had to thirst for people's blood. It made it to where he was stronger. I think he was like a hopeophiliac or something, in which he needed constant blood transfusions. But the cure that he supposedly gave, the supposed cure, it made him to where he hungered for blood more, but gave him superhuman powers. So his instead of needing blood, He hungered for it almost into a point of pain. And that's what made him sort of a tragic villain. It's not going to happen with this kid, okay? He's not going to be tragic. He's not even going to have the hunger. He's going to have it completely under control at all times. Now, if you had an instance where the Captain Diabetic Dora is in a room with him when he runs out of blood, and he's like, she's like a giant pork sausage I must feed. Yeah, that would be really good right there. I mean, he's lost his mind. He's lost it for hunger, but this character is not going to fall for that. I'm telling you. And it's trying too hard with like the bat winging system and the big leather jacket. I mean, we're trying too hard to get the 90s cool look with the spandex under the jacket. Back then, it was a loose-fitting leather jacket with the tight spandex. And it only really worked for two characters, and that would be Rogue and Cable. Okay? Those are the only two characters. Maybe, actually, no, I take that back. Gambit also pulled it off, but Gambit was a freaking Chad and did it with a trench coat.
Look, and very similar vampire powers. B negative also is obviously a pun. It's a blood type, which is great for a vampire character. And it's also...
Yeah. We're doing this because we want a pun to be a superhero name. Go ask any little kid, any little boy, what kind of superhero they would be. Actually, go ask the little black kids in a school. No, I'll go even further. We'll increase the pool size. Ask any impoverished kid that looks poor what their superpower would be, and what superhero name they could be if they could be their own superhero. And they're going to come up with Captain Mighty, Mr. Awesome, Stupendous Man, looking back at Calvin and Hobbes, mind you. They're going to call themselves Night Tiger or something just badass will come out of those kids' mouths. They're not going to call themselves some kind of pun. They're not going to be some sort of a joke. And if you suggested this, they're going to be like, why is he called B negative? Be like, well, it's a pun. It's a joke like a blood type. And they're going to be like, why are you naming superheroes is he a joke character? Is he just a funny guy? Why is he a superhero? And they're not even gonna, they wouldn't even agree with this. So you're not gonna sell those kids. And your demographic for kids that, they claim that they're supposed to be going after is a younger market of 17 to 6 years old or something like that. And they want more, they're trying to get more girls in there. I'd say what you do, you just put some actual cool stuff. But the problem is, you've seen the guy before. He does not look like, this is the guy. This guy on here goes, oh, I saw the new Warriors. They just look too cool for me. I'm like, wow. Virgin Marvel Rider versus Indiegogo Chad. We need one of those up there now. Okay? He's balding with glasses. Eats soy in large quantities, barely sells 1,000 comics, then in comes the Chad, makes $1 million in independent comic sales, takes all the money for himself, devours copious amounts of pie, has almost full head of hair, was in the Marine Corps. Who would you rather have writing for Marvel? I mean, honestly. But,
a proud ownership of the idea of having a bad attitude. I want the people who read our New Warriors to feel all of the excitement that they felt if they read the 90s one.
If you don't improve the girls' costumes, okay, thank you, young Ripa. If you don't improve the girls' costumes any, you're not getting anywhere on that aspect. I need to do a video on superhero costumes, on when you should make a female character sexy and when you shouldn't. Because there is a time when you should and a time when you shouldn't. But right now, I mean, look at the very approving, modest bathing suit on the one chick over on the left of your screen here. Like I said, I know of Night Thrasher because I've been watching Richard Myers stuff. I know of Night Thrasher from him talking about liking it. I've been looking for Night Thrasher comics and haven't found any yet. But you look at her back when she was younger. It was like a super high waisted, very sexy. No, and it just like a heart top kind of bathing suit. And then she looked badass. She looked sexy. I mean, it was like this is a woman that every girl wants to be, sexy and confident, and the chick that every guy wants to fuck. Okay? She is the character that every dude's like, damn, I wish my girlfriend could look like this. I mean, I would die a happy man if I could have, if I could have, like, I have a woman that's absolutely sexy and all hell and has a superhero body, but I mean, me and J. Scott Campbell are kind of unique individuals. So, I mean, I honestly think I might have one over on him because my wife is Filipino and his is European. So Filipino women are superior to other women. I'm sorry, ladies. You're just going to have to deal with it.
We wanted to have big, colorful characters, personality clashes, romance, a diverse cast, which is something that the New Warriors titles have always strived. I think
I see the fat chick when he was sitting there. I saw her pop up, and I was thinking, oh, is she in a ball? Is she rolling across the floor like a big meatball? Oh no, they've apparently got her running. How in the frick does she? I mean, oh boy.
Way more interested about it being now.
I think this is. Oh man, no. No, this is not going to work, Marvel. I mean, the original New Warriors look better than this clusterfuck you got here. But I mean, tell me what you think in the comments, though. How do you feel about all these characters? From left to right, we've got One Trick Pony, Captain Meat Shield, the iPhone, Diabetic Dora the Explorer, and Trying Too Hard. I mean, seriously though, this is ridiculous, Marvel. You're not going to sell this. You're not going to sell this to anyone. Maybe if you did the original New Warriors and just ran with that, and did the original cast that everyone liked and tried to be cool. But this here is a group of characters that I'm going to say this right now. The reason these characters exist is because the original characters, the writer does not have the confidence to write the original characters as good, or he doesn't have the confidence to write them as cool as they should be. So he's making lesser characters to fit more of his writing style, which is Virgin Marvel writer. I am the Last Raider, folks. Comment, like, subscribe if you're new. Keep your head on a swivel, stay frosty, and survive, folks, until we weather this storm. I will see you guys next time.